Hello, gathered friends. I'm Nuva, and welcome to Bionicle Deep Dive, where we analyze the tropes, characters, and lore of LEGO Bionicle. In this video, I wanted to explain a crazy headcanon I came up with, that the Manas, the terrifying gigantic crab monsters of Makuda's lair, might actually be the evolved state of the tame and friendly Ussal Crabs used by Matoran. Sounds like a stretch, but there's actually a surprising amount of evidence for it scattered in hints throughout the story. Let's dive right into it. Now, aside from the fact that they're both crabs, Ussals and Manas could not be more different. The Ussals were incredibly docile and friendly Rahi, who became a huge staple in Matoran society as mounts and beasts of burden. They were known for being very peaceful and intelligent, and even forming genuine friendships with the Matoran. Pewku, in particular, was so loyal that more than once she tracked down Takua across the island to help him out. The Manas, on the other hand, are among the most dangerous and vicious Rahi known to the Matoran. Their very name is a Matoran word meaning monster. Described as being 3 times the size of a Toa, the Manas were considered to be on a threat level all their own, even compared to the other Rahi Makuta infected on the island of Matanui. The Manas were known for being incredibly aggressive and territorial, and if they had no opponents to fight, they would turn on each other. Makuta used them as his personal guards for his lair, and before the coming of the Toamata, it is said that no one ever saw the Manas and lived to tell about it. In addition to their insane strength and durability, the Manas also possessed a keen intelligence above that of the average Rahi, and were very difficult to trick. Because of all this, it was believed that no single Toa could ever hope to defeat the Manas. In order to overcome them, the Toamata themselves had to combine their powers, bodies, and minds to form the Toa Kaita. So we can see that these two species are very different in terms of both size and temperament. But there are actually hints throughout canon that they may be related. The idea that they might be related actually first appears in the guidebook Rahi Beasts, where Wenua actually speculated that the Manas might be related to Ussals. Anwa also suggested that the Manas might be creatures from Metronui's prehistory that survived to the present day. It should be noted that Matau laughed at this theory. It's interesting who might have the stronger credentials here, because while Wenua was an archivist who was highly knowledgeable about the history of Rahi, Matau did spend a lot of time around Ussals, as he did work as an Ussal cart driver as a Matoran. I guess the real question is, if they are related, how? So, Ussal crabs are actually shown to grow and change over their lifespan, as shown with Pewku. When Takua first met her during the Quest of the Masks arc, she was a standard-sized Ussal with a blue shell and yellow feet. Notably, she was described as being rather old, said to be long in the tooth. By the Mask of Light arc, we see that she's changed, metamorphosized. She had grown to nearly twice her size and changed color from blue and yellow to brown and silver. While before, crabs of her size could carry only one of the shrunken-sized Matoran, she could now easily carry 2 of the larger, rebuilt Matoran with room to spare. Ussal are also shown to be capable of being very small, as seen in the opening of Web of Shadows. So perhaps they start their life as very small, only a few inches long, and then grow to a rideable size, and then once they get old in that state, they grow again to nearly double that size. All of this stuff we've seen in actual canon story material, so it's already established that Ussal have growth stages as they age. So, where's the limit to that? Could it be that a sufficiently ancient Ussal crab could eventually grow until they hit the size of a Manas? What's really cool is that this idea actually resembles something that happens with some real-world crustaceans, specifically lobsters. Lobsters don't age the same way other animals do, and instead of hitting a peak adult form and eventually growing weaker in old age, lobsters continue to grow larger and more fertile throughout their life. This has led to many "lobsters are functionally immortal" memes, as well as speculation on how big a lobster could grow if it never died. Now, lobsters do have a life limit, that being that at a certain point they're so big molting takes too much energy to complete, and eventually that leads to their death. But with creatures from the Bionicle universe who already have a much stronger case for functional immortality, if they continue to grow with age, who's to say what the limit is? Is it possible that the Manas crabs are really just incredibly ancient Ussal crabs who gained incredible size and incredible viciousness in their old age? The 2 Manas that the Toa Metru found on the way to the island of Matanui were included among the ancient sea beasts, the incredibly old sea rahi that Whenua and Mavra's project was about. And as the name implied, they were incredibly old. Manas were also found heavily in the realm of Karzani, a location from the early Matoran universe that's been isolated since ancient times. Both of these show a correlation between the Manas and incredible age. Perhaps the Manas of Karzani were originally Ussal Crabs for the Matoran there. Could explain why they were so well trained and disciplined. This idea honestly just adds to the tragedy of that place. That, like everything else, the Ussal Crabs that were their partners became corrupted into the monsters that kept them prisoner. Now, one final piece to this puzzle is the mutant Ussal Crab found in the archives, whose claw alone was big enough to seize 2 Toametru, far larger than even any of the Manas. The archivists believed that it might be a hybrid with another, larger species, and Whenua believed that it was an important part of Rahi history. Perhaps this was the very oldest member of the Ussal Manas species, having lived so long it reached absolutely gargantuan size. Something I also find kind of interesting is that, especially in her set form, Pewku's feet are attached via a rolling gear function, which kinda sorta resembles a step in the direction of the tank treads that Manas used for legs. Also, speaking of her set form, something really ironic to this discussion is that her set is actually a little bit bigger than the Manas set. And all this just makes me wonder what the eventual fate of our beloved Pewku will be. Can you just imagine an older Takanuva, maybe even as a Shiraga, riding around on a gigantic, extremely affectionate crab monster literally the size of a tank? Adorable. And terrifying. What more could you ask? But those are my thoughts on the theory that Ussal Crabs eventually grow to become Manas. What do you guys think? Do you like this theory, or do you think something else? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care, my gathered friends.